that sinking feeling, right? That real gut punch when a potential client, someone you know you could genuinely help, ends up choosing someone else.
Yeah.
And it's often not because you lack the experience or, weren't personable enough. It stings because you know your qualifications, your dedication.
Yeah.
But somehow they just didn't seem to see the unique value you bring.
It's like you're speaking different languages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. In today's deep dive, we're tackling precisely that challenge, especially for professionals, in really competitive fields like real estate.
Right.
We're diving into what our sources are calling the value proposition trap. And our mission today, really, is to understand what makes a value proposition truly work, why so many, frankly, good professionals get stuck in this generic mindset, and, most importantly, how you can craft real differentiation, the kind that attracts your ideal clients and, let's be honest, boosts your own confidence too.
And for this deep dive, we're drawing insights from a really great stack of sources. Things like Mastering Real Estate Differentiation. Beyond the Qualification Trap, there's the Real Estate Value Proposition and Differentiation Guide, and another called the Value Proposition Trap.
Yeah.
And these really lay out what one source calls the brutal truth of it all. But they also offer practical, actionable strategies. They really emphasize that while the good intentions are almost always there,
Sure.
the actual execution of defining your unique value, that often, it misses the mark.
So let's start right there with this idea of the qualification trap.
Yeah.
What exactly is it? And why does it seem to snare so many professionals who are genuinely trying to do the right thing?
Yeah, the qualification trap, it's fascinating because it's where these really well-meaning agents, they're following what seems like perfectly logical advice.
Yeah.
Highlight your professional competencies, list your skills.
Right, the standard stuff.
Exactly. And they end up sounding, generic. Think about those common phrases like, I provide exceptional client service through my extensive market knowledge, strong negotiation skills, and comprehensive marketing strategies.
Okay, yeah. Sounds familiar.
On the surface, it sounds pretty good, right? But the problem isn't that the statement is wrong. It's that it sounds like literally everyone else in the industry.
Oh.
It's become the standard expectation, not the standout feature.
So if everyone is saying basically the same thing, then effectively no one's really saying anything unique at all. It just kind of fades into the background noise.
Precisely. Our sources actually call those competencies things like experience, market knowledge, negotiation skills. They call them table stakes.
Table stakes, meaning?
They're just the baseline requirements. If you're a competent agent, clients expect you to have these things. They're not what makes you different.
Okay.
So if your unique value isn't immediately obvious in that first crucial interaction, you just become another decision they need to make.
And that's tough in a big decision process.
Exactly. And in an already overwhelming process like buying or selling a home, the easiest decision, sadly, is often just to put it off or maybe to choose based on the lowest commission.
Yeah.
Just because no clear value has really been presented.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But then why? Why do so many agents who are genuinely good at what they do get stuck in this particular trap? It seems kind of counterintuitive to intentionally blend in. What's the deeper why behind this?
It absolutely is counterintuitive, you're right. And our sources point to several key reasons, often kind of psychological ones. A big one is simply the fear of exclusion.
Fear of turning people away.
Yeah, exactly. Agents worry that if they focus too much on a niche or, one specific strength, they'll actually turn away potential business. So they end up trying to be good at everything rather than exceptional at something specific. But think about it like a specialist doctor. They don't worry about excluding general patients. Their specialization is what attracts the right patients who need their specific expertise.
Right.
In a crowded market, being a generalist often means you're just forgettable. Being a specialist, though, that commands higher trust and, frankly, higher value.
Okay, fear of exclusion. What else?
Well, then there's the influence of industry training. Often the training emphasizes this idea of broad competency, which is good. It creates generally capable agents, but not necessarily distinctively valuable ones.
Learning the basics, but not mastering a specialty.
Exactly. It's like teaching you to ride any old bike instead of helping you master a racing bike for a specific track. Another factor is comparison anxiety.
Watching the competition.
Totally. You see your competitors out there highlighting similar qualifications, And the natural, almost reflexive response is to just emphasize the same things yourself, maybe just louder or with more credentials. It becomes this race to the bottom of sameness.
Yeah, I can see that.
And finally, there's client expectations, or maybe how agents interpret client
That's right.
expectations. Clients do ask about experience and track record, sure, which leads agents to mistakenly believe these are the things that will make them stand out. But in reality, those are often just the entry requirements. It's like asking a surgeon if they went to medical school. You just assume they did. It doesn't tell you what makes them the best surgeon for your specific complex procedure.
Right, it's the ticket to the game, not the winning play. And the costs of sticking with this generic approach, they sound pretty damaging. It's not just losing one client here or there, is it? It sounds like it could really undermine an agent's entire business.
Oh, absolutely. The ripple effects are significant, and yeah, they can be profoundly damaging over time.
Which of these costs, based on your research, do you think is maybe the most insidious, the one that's hardest to recover from?
That's a tough question, but I'd argue the most insidious cost is probably the inability to escape price competition.
Ah, the commission battle.
Exactly. Without clear differentiation, clients just default to comparing commission rates. Why wouldn't they? They haven't been shown a unique value that justifies anything else.
So it becomes a race to the bottom.
It really does. It commoditizes your valuable service, which directly hits your profitability and, honestly, your sense of professional worth.
Okay, so price wars. What else?
Well, beyond that, you inevitably end up attracting wrong-fit clients. Generic messaging tends to attract anyone and everyone, which, believe me, often leads to frustrated relationships down the line.
Mismatched expectations.
Totally. Imagine spending weeks with a client whose budget or needs or even personality are just completely misaligned with your market expertise or how you work best. It's draining, it's inefficient, and it often leads to disappointment on both sides. That harms your reputation, your energy.
Yeah, it's like forcing a square peg in a round hole, constantly.
That's a good way to put it. Thirdly, you get weak referrals. Your past clients, even happy ones, struggle to articulate what makes you special beyond vague compliments like, oh, she's really nice, or he worked really hard.
Which isn't very compelling.
Not really. It doesn't compel new business. A strong referral isn't just they're good, it's something specific like you have to talk to them if you're trying to sell a vintage home in the historic district. They know exactly how to handle that.
Much more powerful.
Definitely. Fourth, it can actually lead to imposter syndrome.
Really? How so?
Well, if your marketing is promising this broad general excellence, but your true strengths are more specific, you can start to feel like you're overselling yourself. It creates this internal conflict, this feeling of not quite living up to the hype.
I see. That makes sense.
And finally, just plain marketing inefficiency. Generic messages simply don't resonate strongly in a noisy world, so your cost per lead goes way up, your conversion rates drop, because you're essentially throwing this huge, wide net into an ocean hoping to catch something, anything.
Just pouring money into general ads that don't really connect with anyone specific.
Right. It just doesn't hit
But-
home.
Okay, so beyond just being generally vague, what are some of the specific common mistakes or pitfalls agents fall into when they try to craft a better value proposition, but maybe still miss the mark?
Oh, yeah. Even with the best intentions, agents can stumble into some predictable traps. One of the most common, it's the feature laundry list.
The laundry list.
Yeah, this is where you just rattle off all the services you provide. Professional photography, virtual tours, social media marketing, open houses. You know the list.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Clients don't buy those services directly. They buy the results those services are supposed to produce.
Ah, the outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to know that professional photography leads to a faster sale or maybe a better price. Not just that you offer it, the what without the why or the so what. It's just noise.
Okay, avoid the laundry list. What's another one?
Then there's the experience emphasis trap. You see this all the time, statements like, with 15 years in real estate.
Sounds credible, though.
It sounds credible, but our sources are really clear on this. Experience only matters if it translates into better outcomes for clients.
So how do you show that?
Well, the challenge isn't just having the experience, it's articulating how that decade or whatever it is of market shifts and different client challenges has uniquely prepared you to solve today's specific problems for this particular client. It's about demonstrating applied wisdom, not just years logged doing the same thing over and over.
That's a great distinction. It's not about how long you've been doing it, but what you've learned and how that specifically benefits the client now.
What about trying to define a niche but still getting it wrong?
Yes, the dreaded generic niche.
Yeah.
This is where you get phrases like, I specialize in helping families find their dream homes.
Sounds focused, no.
It sounds focused, but our sources say it's basically meaningless. What kind of families? Young families, families with special needs. How is your approach actually different for them compared to any other agent? It's just too broad to be a real differentiator.
Like saying you specialize in people who breathe air, pretty much. And then another common one is relying on personality as a substitute for actual value.
How do you mean?
Things like, I'm passionate about real estate, or I'm really committed to my clients, which is great, admirable even.
Right.
But those are really baseline expectations, aren't they? They're not differentiators. Clients expect passion and commitment from any professional they hire, especially for such a huge transaction.
Right, that should be standard.
Exactly. And similarly, things like awards and credentials, top producer, $1 million club member, they build credibility, sure, but they don't explain what clients get when they work with you that they wouldn't get elsewhere.
They don't explain the how or the why.
Precisely. They don't articulate the unique benefit you provide, only that you've been successful, which, let's face it, could be for any number of reasons.
Okay, so if we kind of connect all this to the bigger picture, how do agents actually break free and create real differentiation? Where should they be focusing their energy, given all these potential pitfalls?
Right, this is where the real shift has to happen. True differentiation, according to our sources, fundamentally shifts the focus. It moves away from what the agent does, all those activities and features, and moves towards what problems they actually solve and what specific outcomes they deliver for specific types of clients. It's a complete pivot in perspective.
So start with the end result for the client.
Exactly. You need to start with client outcomes. Instead of listing your services, ask yourself, what does my excellent service actually produce for my clients? Is it maybe faster sales, less stress during a really complex move, better long-term investment decisions, more confidence navigating a tricky market? Focus on those tangible and even intangible benefits.
Okay, outcomes first. What else?
You also need to identify your unfair advantages. What unique knowledge or insights or maybe even relationships do you possess that other agents tend to miss or simply don't have access to?
Unfair advantages. Like what?
Well, maybe you're the agent who consistently spots hidden foundation issues before they blow up a deal because you used to work in construction. Or perhaps you have an almost intuitive understanding of local development plans that will impact property values down the line because of your background in urban planning.
Or specific connections.
Right. Maybe you have unique relationships with specific contractors or architects who specialize in a certain type of property, like historic homes. These are the kinds of insights and connections that others just can't replicate easily.
And it sounds like getting really, really specific about who you serve isn't just important, it's actually liberating.
Absolutely essential. And yes, liberating is a good word for it. You must focus on specific problems. Move beyond the generic stuff like helping people buy and sell homes. That's everybody.
Get granular.
Get really granular. Think about specialized problems, like the example we talked about, helping military families navigate complex PCS moves without leaving money on the table due to tight timelines and maybe unfamiliar market dynamics. That's a very specific challenge. It requires specialized knowledge and a very particular approach.
Got it.
Another powerful principle is to test it with past clients. Seriously, ask your best, happiest clients why they chose you. And maybe even more importantly, what do they tell other people when they refer you?
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, their unfiltered feedback often reveals your actual distinct value much more clearly than you might realize yourself. They'll articulate what you really do for them in their own words.
And what about the fear of exclusion we talked about earlier?
That's where you have to embrace what you're not. And this can be tough, but a truly strong value proposition inherently excludes some people. It has to.
Because you can't be for everyone.
Exactly. If your message tries to appeal to absolutely everyone, it's almost certainly not specific enough to resonate deeply with anyone. As one source puts it, being everything to everyone means being special to no one. It's actually a powerful act of strategic exclusion. It defines who you are perfect for.
I really like those examples you pulled from the sources earlier. They felt like really practical teaching tools for how to craft something truly different. Can you maybe walk us through a couple of those again and sort of break down why they work so well?
Certainly, yeah, those examples really do illustrate what it means to focus on specific problems and tangible outcomes. Let's take the first one. I help tech professionals relocating to Austin navigate a market where most agents don't understand RSU timing and the importance of proximity to shuttle routes.
Okay.
Now, why does this work? First, it immediately identifies a very specific and often underserved audience, tech professionals relocating to Austin. Then, it acknowledges their unique, highly specific challenges, things like RSU timing, which is absolutely crucial for their financial planning.
Right, stock units.
Exactly, and things like proximity to shuttle routes, which speaks directly to their daily quality of life and commute realities in that city. It instantly implies a specialized knowledge that a generic agent just wouldn't have. It makes you the obvious choice for that group.
Okay, specificity and unique problems. What about the estate sale one?
Right, the second example. I turn inherited property headaches into smooth transitions for families dealing with estate sales while managing grief and family dynamics. This one is powerful because it goes way beyond just the transaction.
It's more human.
Totally.
Right.
It addresses both the practical challenge, the inherited property headache, the estate sale itself, and the profound emotional complexities involved, managing grief and family dynamics. It shows a much deeper understanding and offers a specific, empathetic solution. It highlights a unique capability to navigate really sensitive situations. You're not just selling a house, you're providing peace of mind during a genuinely difficult time.
That feels so much more compelling than just saying, I handle estate sales. It tells a story of care, doesn't it?
It really does. And let's look at the third one quickly. I help empty nesters unlock the equity in their family homes without the overwhelm of managing two simultaneous transactions.
Another specific life stage.
Precisely. It speaks directly to a specific life transition. And it implies expertise in that, yeah, when you are crystal clear about who you serve and how you uniquely serve them, it becomes infinitely easier for the right clients to find you and drill you. Think about it. Clients making huge financial decisions, they instinctively seek out an expert who truly understands their unique situation, not just a generalist.
Makes sense.
So specificity allows agents to genuinely stand out. It helps you attract your ideal clients, the ones you actually enjoy working with and can help the most. It helps you justify your fees because clients aren't just paying for your time. They're buying your specific knowledge, your network, your proven problem-solving ability, and your track record with situations exactly like theirs.
And marketing becomes easier too.
Oh, way more efficient.
Yeah.
Because you can create content, blog posts, videos, social media that is genuinely useful and relevant to your specific niche. That naturally attracts precisely the people you're best equipped to serve. Your marketing costs can go down, and your conversion rates should go up.
And what about storytelling? You mentioned that earlier. How does that fit in?
Storytelling is absolutely crucial, but it has to go beyond just bragging about awards or, big sales figures. Real, effective storytelling demonstrates your thinking process. It shows how you solve problems in real-world scenarios.
So less telling, more showing.
Exactly. Instead of a generic claim like, oh, I have extensive negotiation experience, you should recount a specific story. For instance, maybe describe how in a really competitive multi-offer situation, you structured an offer that maybe wasn't even the highest cash bid.
Okay.
But you included, say, a specific rent-back clause that directly addressed the seller's stated concern about needing temporary housing while their new build was finished. And that detail, addressing their specific pain point, ultimately won your client the home. See, these stories need to be specific, believable, and directly relevant to your niche. They showcase how you think and how you solve problems uniquely.
That paints a much clearer picture of value. And how about those taglines or niche descriptions? How can they be truly effective in immediately signaling that unique value you offer?
Yeah, the goal of a really effective tagline or niche statement is to immediately orient a potential client. It needs to tell them right away what you do and for whom. It should help the right people self-select in and, frankly, the wrong people self-select out.
Clarity over cleverness.
Definitely. Avoid trying to be too clever or cute. Clarity is key. Think about phrases like turning first-time buyer stress into confidence in competitive urban markets. That immediately tells you the target audience and the specific transformation you provide.
Right.
Or maybe making luxury moves simple for discreet clients. Again, very clear who it's for and the benefit offered. And don't be afraid of excluding people. Consider something like specializing in equestrian properties throughout horse country.
That sounds super specific.
It is, and yes, it might exclude 95% of potential clients in the broader market, but for that 5% who need that highly specialized expertise, you instantly become the obvious, the undeniable choice. This level of specificity allows you to command your value and market far more effectively because you're speaking directly to their unique needs and concerns.
It really sounds like this goes beyond just pure business strategy, doesn't it? It feels like there's a deeper, maybe more personal impact here for the agent themselves.
That's a really important point, and yes, this raises an important question about confidence. Our sources consistently highlight that crafting and owning a specific, authentic value proposition actually makes agents more confident, not less.
How so?
Well, think about it. When you're crystal clear about what you do best and for whom, you stop feeling like you need to chase and compete on every single deal that comes along.
Right, less desperation.
Exactly. You start attracting clients who genuinely value your particular expertise, which naturally makes the whole sales process easier, more efficient, and frankly, far more enjoyable. It directly combats that imposter syndrome we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not out there promising some vague, broad excellence you might secretly worry you don't possess. You're promising specific expertise that you genuinely own.
Yeah.
And that authenticity, that builds deep trust. And ultimately, trust is what wins sustainable business and fosters those great long-term relationships. You become, quite simply, the go-to expert in your specific domain.
So today, we've really taken a deep dive into this critical difference, haven't we, between those generic value propositions that just trap agents in endless price competition and the truly differentiated ones that act like a magnet for ideal clients.
Yeah.
And the key, as we've heard, seems to be moving beyond just listing your qualifications.
Yeah, beyond the resume points.
And really identifying those specific problems you are uniquely equipped to solve for a clearly defined audience. And then articulating that through compelling stories and really clear, specific messaging.
Yeah, we've seen how avoiding those common pitfalls, the feature laundry list, the generic niches, and instead focusing intently on client outcomes and leveraging your unique, maybe even unfair, advantages can genuinely transform your business. Specificity, especially in this often commoditized industry, it isn't just some buzzword. It really can be your superpower.
So the question for you listening is this. What specific problem are you uniquely positioned to solve for your ideal client? And how can you start telling that story in a way that truly demonstrates your unique thinking process, your specific advantage?
It's worth some thought.
Absolutely. We really encourage you to reflect deeply on your own unique strengths and how you can apply these principles to truly authentically stand out.